From a Buddhist view, we train our minds with meditation. There are certain elements of that training that have powerful healing effects. Number one is mindfulness. On my first meditation retreat, we were taught to slow down and take every action very carefully and with great attention. One day after breakfast, I brought this approach to peeling an orange. It came out looking like a blossoming flower. In that moment, something that ordinarily would seem like garbage or compost became art. I realized that the world around me was filled with beauty that I rarely recognized. The second element of meditation is concentration, or samadhi. This is the quality that allows us to sustain our attention on a particular thing, like the breath or an orange peel. When we settle the mind with this power, which takes a fair amount of time and effort, a deep peace arises. Our capacity for insight and letting go of destructive clinging are enormously enhanced. If you want to access this type of experience, I recommend starting with the 7 to 10 day silent meditation retreat. When I first experienced this kind of concentration, I was on a retreat in the high desert of Southern California. After days of struggling to calm my mind, suddenly a quiet and still seemed to drop over me like a blanket of calm. I realized I'd finally arrived at the peace that I sought. That moment changed my life and affirmed my commitment to meditation as a lifetime practice. Two other elements of Buddhist meditation and teachings are loving kindness and compassion. Loving kindness meditation aims to cultivate a universal friendliness to help us to view all beings as worthy of love. This counters the tendencies towards anger, ill will, judgment, and bias. Again, this practice is a training, an intentional, repeated effort to change our reactivity and conditioning. Compassion is more specifically aimed at those who are suffering. It calls on us to recognize our own internal struggle and see that all beings face challenges in their lives and need care and support. This attitude helps the mind to be more expansive, open, warm, inclusive. It trains the heart to move toward suffering with the wish to heal, rather than to move away out of fear or self-centeredness. After that first retreat, for a week, I found myself spontaneously crying, something I hadn't done in years. My heart had opened, and I was now feeling connected to the world in a way that enriched my life, even though it also made me feel vulnerable. Learning how to hold that vulnerability without losing my emotional center became a key piece of my spiritual development. Finally, I would be remiss if I left out sobriety as a way to mental wellness. This concept doesn't just apply to alcohol or drugs, but to all the ways that we intoxicate ourselves. Today, the number one drug in the world is the smartphone and the internet. We live inside a tiny screen that brings a highly biased version of the world to us. All forms of intoxication poison our mind and often poison our bodies as well. When I got sober after 20 years of drinking and using, I realized that what I'd been seeking in getting high was actually right here in front of me all the time. Happiness isn't something you have to manufacture or stimulate. It is in the simple beauty of life that we can all connect with. Yes, it can take some time to make that connection, but it's there for each of us if we are willing to do the work to make it happen.